Hey guys, what's up? It's Carl, and today we're checking out my favorite Android device so far this year. Being primarily an iPhone guy, I usually switch between Android devices every single month. The one that I keep coming back to has been the OnePlus 9, specifically the OnePlus 9 Pro, and no, this video isn't sponsored by them. I wish it was, but I did team up with Best Buy and Magic Links because you can grab this now at Best Buy. So if you're interested, there'll be a link below, but this video is completely honest, my opinion on why I keep coming back to a OnePlus device versus every other Android phone. We'll start off with the things that I don't like because I don't think any phone is perfect, and a lot of you did have questions around this. Now that it's been out now for the past month, I've been able to use it for 2. The first thing that we should talk about is, of course, the camera. That's where all the hype was around, and of course, that's the collab with Hasselblad. And when I did my first impressions video and tested this against other devices, the one thing that I complained about was the white balance just didn't seem to be consistent. Sometimes it was too cold, sometimes it was too hot. It couldn't nail that Goldilocks zone. And the one thing that I love about OnePlus devices, you'll see this kind of theme reoccur throughout this video, they are so in tune with what the community says, and they are super quick to software update. And that issue was already fixed on the first week, so we are way more consistent now. To the actual sensors itself, so we have 2 new sensors. I'm not gonna talk about the 2 megapixel macro or even the telephoto. It's the 48 megapixel main, and more importantly, the 50 megapixel ultra wide. I think that is actually the best ultra wide camera lens across any smartphone that we've seen. And that's already going above and beyond that partnership with Hasselblad. It's the strict hardware. So actually, for example, my 12 Pro Max, we've got triple the size over on the OnePlus, and it's by far the favorite lens that I shoot on. I try to always take photos with that ultra wide sensor. Obviously, no smartphone camera is perfect. Once you get over that 2x range into the telephoto, into digital zoom, stuff does get way grainier. And that partnership with Hasselblad, I mean, you get a pro camera mode. I'm probably biased because you get an orange shutter, but it isn't really making or breaking the camera. It isn't really taking it to the levels that OnePlus was kind of hyping. In the end, it's a good camera, it's decent, and it's on par with everything else out there. The second major thing that a lot of people are talking about are the battery issues or overheating. And in the 2 months that I've used it, I haven't really noticed a problem with either. There are those few times when you say accidentally leave the screen on, say it's stuck on the camera, you'll put it into your pocket, you'll notice it get a bit hotter. But what other phone doesn't do that? And in terms of the battery, so 4,500 milliamps, it isn't the largest that we've seen, but it still easily has lasted me the entire day, even with all of my max settings set. So I've got the 1440p display on, that's Quad HD plus 120 hertz refresh rate, and easily a day, even a day and a half. And sometimes if I'm trying to really push it, being an ultra user on the phone, 6 hours of screen on time, the best part of the OnePlus ecosystem or OnePlus devices has always been charging. So we've got a couple new things to the Pro model. We've got the tried and trusted Warp Charge 65T. Every time I see that iconic red cable go into my phone, I know that my phone will juice up nice and quick. And when I switch back to my iPhone, it almost becomes a bit sad because it almost seems archaic how long that device takes. So OnePlus has done this by kind of splitting the battery cell. So you actually have 2 different coils in this. But the thing that I want to talk about, which I've just become so used to using, is the 50-watt wireless charging. Yes, you'll need to grab OnePlus's wireless charger. I think it's 65, 70 bucks extra. You can now get 50 watts of wireless charging, and you can get 0 to 100 in around 40 minutes, which is actually shorter than most phones take to charge when they're plugged in. So super dope. And it's, once again, an accessory that once you start using, if you switch back to anything else, it just seems dated. It seems from like another century, decade. You know what I'm saying. It's a dope accessory, so definitely something to pick up if you get the 9 Pro. Back to the phone, and maybe the last thing that I've seen people give the OnePlus flack about is the fingerprint scanner, which is located a bit lower on the device. Honestly, it hasn't really impacted my usage at all. I think I've just gotten used to it now, especially that we all still wear masks. And if any of you are in Toronto, you should know we are the longest city, or have the longest streak, still being in lockdown. And as of today, we are still under stay-at-home orders. So it sucks. And for the rest of the device, it's just been super solid, maybe even slightly better since we've got it from day one. Like I said, OnePlus is so good with their software updates, so some of the little tweaks, some of the little stutters or lags that I initially might have noticed have kind of all gone away already. Oxygen OS is just so clean and probably the purest skin close to stock Android. It's by far my favorite. I think OnePlus does an awesome job with that. They don't get enough credit for it. Coupled with a great hardware, it just feels like one of the speediest devices currently out. And once again, I'm gonna compare it back to my iPhone. The experience on this is just so much more fluid, so much quicker. The iPhone feels like a dated dinosaur, as it does, I guess, against most other Android devices. And to kind of wrap up this revisited review, why you should still get it, you're gonna really look at that price point. So around $1,000 for the OnePlus 9 Pro. That is still cheaper than, once again, other flagships. You look at the Samsung S20 Ultra, the 12 Pro Max, around that $1,200 mark. So I know OnePlus devices have gotten more expensive, especially for their premium ones, but I still think they offer some value, especially for what you're getting. I would have obviously loved to see them $50, $100 cheaper. Than I would definitely recommend them to most people as probably the device to get. But as I said, no device is perfect. And as I end this review, as I've been using this without a case for this video, you can see the back of it, depending on what color you get, does pick up a lot of fingerprints. They have switched back to the glossy design. I think it looks pretty fresh if you keep it clean, but most people just rock a skin, rock a case on it. I wouldn't necessarily say they have a best-in-class feature for you to choose, but rather a jack-of-all-trades phone. The things that always get me to come back is this super smooth and lightning quick interface. Big hats off to Oxygen OS. Even more impressive as Google no longer makes a premium top-end flagship. Battery experience that kind of cannot be beat. I'm always trying to find that OnePlus supercharger, that iconic red cable. And the third and final thing, those software updates, which are fixed almost instantaneously. I think OnePlus does an awesome job with that. All of the ones that I experienced from the initial launch have all been ironed out now. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember, links, a magic link is down below to Best Buy where you can pick this up. You can also pick up the standard 9 and the dope supercharger. I realized that my background went off, so that means I'm rambling. This video is done. Catch the rest of you in one of my next ones. Peace.